over your career of a multi-stack marketer, I like to call it.
Yep.
What's been the same thing? If you look at the last 10 years, what's been the same thing, but disguised in a different way every time? Like, what are you seeing? Welcome back to the Marketing Muscle Up podcast show. I'm your host, Richard Tatunji, and I started this podcast out after some many failed attempts podcasting to ensure that we could bring little bite-sized pieces of information to you in a streamlined way to grow your health and fitness studio. When I say we, I have a company called Com Marketing, and each week I've got a segment we call Fireside Chats. And what we do at Com Marketing is we help people grow through marketing education, telling them which Facebook ad to run, which one to pause, how to get leads from Instagram and Facebook. And I've got Ev Chapman, who's been with us at Com for over 8 years, and she's the operations manager at Com Marketing. And I thought I wanted to pick your brain each week to sort of see what's happening inside, because we run coaching calls. And so it's a good idea. I guess not a good idea. When I speak to multiple people, you start to gauge a kind of a process that's working or what not working in the industry at the time. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more conversations that you have with people who are on the ground in the industry, the more you get to know kind of the flavor of what's going on.
Yeah, it's like the weekly flavor. and for a long time, it's been vanilla as the flavor, but every week, the flavor does change to some weird and exotic things.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's vanilla, sometimes it's, I don't know, pistachio.
Yes, the rare flavors are coming out to play. And what we are talking about is how to grow your fitness studio. It's not the same way, the same cut and paste way that it's always been.
Yeah.
Ev, I think a lot of people have heard you've been on many of these episodes, but what's been, over your career of a multi-stack marketer, I like to call it.
Yep.
What's been the same thing? If you look at the last 10 years, what's been the same thing, but disguised in a different way every time? Like, what are you seeing?
Honestly, the thing that I see is the people who make the moves get the results. So people who, sometimes doesn't even matter what moves you make, even if the moves are wrong. Okay. It's about making movement, taking action, trying things. And in marketing, we always say it's like a test and measure game.
Yep.
So the more tests that you have out there, the more that you take action, the more that you learn along the way. And so what I find is the people who I coach is the ones who are sitting there kind of paralyzed because they don't know how to move forward, or they're thinking, I might do it wrong. I need to wait and just check that this is okay. They move much slower than the ones who are out there, not afraid to make a mistake, not afraid to maybe risk losing some money, that kind of thing. Especially in Facebook ads, it can be a little bit of a risk, but those are the people who tend to grow and who tend to kind of, you wonder what the secret sauce is. The secret sauce is movement. It's action towards something, even if it's wrong. And that can be hard lessons, but it works.
Yeah. And movement, I think we can all understand as industry professionals that movement is what is required to have a strong and healthy and fit body. It's daily movement in whatever exercise discipline that you say or you prefer. Is it for CrossFit, or if it's strength, or if it's cardio? At the end of the day, it's some level of movement, and that's what we're talking about with marketing. It's like it's
exactly the same.
Moving. Just moving is the key.
That's it. The key to human, like being healthy as a human is moving, whatever it is. And it's the same in your marketing, in your business. If you are paralyzed because you don't know which way to turn, or you don't know which way forward, or there's too many options, that can really actually paralyze your business. Like, the less moves you make, the less you move forward. Yeah.
And I guess, and I'm going to ask you some soon, how do we unparalyze ourselves? But
Yeah.
the funny thing is that it's a great industry, because a lot of people came in this industry because we can choose the lifestyle we want in some way, shape, or form. Meaning that if you put the hours in the morning, you can have a breather in the middle of the day, or you can change around your lifestyle. Now, a lot of people are living that way, but there's other people in this industry that are paralyzed with what do I have to do to get the clients through the door? So they're doing the training, and then there's this gap to say, well, I'm not happy where I'm at. What should I do? And I think we're talking about not the hours that we put in to the actual work. Like if you're a personal trainer, you're to train somebody. If you are running a studio, you're training in the session, or your trainers are training, and you're managing that process. What we are talking about here is specifically marketing, doing something daily to move in marketing.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you only do the training part or the working in the business part, the outwardly kind of, the thing that you have to give to your client, you're actually not going to grow your business. You have to be out there every day doing something in marketing, whether that's starting a conversation with someone, whether that's, getting some flyers, delivered, whether that's online. Online helps because you can actually scale yourself without actually having to do all of that, all that individual work. But it's a combination. If you're not out there taking some kind of action or having some kind of action online, then it's going to be really hard to grow.
And talk about, and just on that, you were very clear. You said you've got to do. So this is outside your currently training. So I would go ahead and calculate the hours now. Outside you training your clients, that's working, by the way. Outside, let's just be clear here. Outside that, how many hours would you spend? And if that's the question, like how many hours do we recommend that we tell our clients, how many hours do we need to put in to change that habit of maybe we're running at 0 hours or 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week? What's the recommended amount?
Well, I mean, my answer to these kind of questions is always like, how much can you sustain? I could tell you that you need another 10 hours a week in marketing, but if you can't sustain that, that's just a kind of stupid thing to say. So if you can take 30 minutes extra to do marketing and then build that up to an hour and then build that up to, at some point you kind of lose the time doesn't really matter. Like the more you go up, like you can't do like 100 hours a week and, it might be as good as 2. So I would start with what you can be consistent with. Week in, week out, day in, day out. What can you do? And that's why often when I'm doing things like this, I'll break it down to the very like single actions that I can take in a day. So a lot of the times I'll be saying to our clients, okay, how many conversations could you start each day? Could you start 5 new conversations a day? 3, 2, 1, whatever it is. If you can break it down to something that is really actionable every single day, not just like, I'm going to work on marketing. That's not actionable at all. But if you can work on, I am going to open my Instagram account and start a new conversation with one person who is a follower. That is something really actionable, and that kind of thing creates movement.
Right. Just before this call, Ev, I was talking to one of our amazing clients, and I asked them, can you provide a review if you had a great experience?
Yeah.
And I sent them a link, and that was movement. It was something that was added on, and that's what we're talking about here. It may not be the acquisition piece, but that one movement gets us more excited. Oh, that's great. Let's keep working through that funnel.
That's it. And I think, often we stress about the acquisition because honestly, the acquisition is what gets us money. So there's obviously, we're trying to get people to buy a membership or, whatever it is or whatever the structure is. But what happens is that is just an outcome of everything else that you're doing in the business. Everything else that you're doing in marketing equals the acquisition. So you can stress about acquisition or you can make movement and trust that that movement is going to equal acquisition.
I love this because it is the summary of what's happening at the moment, especially this week. And we're finding the clients that are moving, that are turning up to our training, because we always do trainings. We're turning up to our trainings. They're moving and they're getting ahead, and they're the ones that are winning. And the ones that aren't, they're stressing about the leads, but the leads come from movement, everyday movement.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, if you're in the health and fitness industry, it's exactly the same as we said before. The people who move, the people who come to training, the people who, then go and move every day, and they, and they take action, even if it's imperfect action, they're the ones who tend to succeed.
It seems so simple, like this concept. I guess the next question, well, not the next question. A lot of the time we can't decide what to do. And we say, okay, let's set aside an hour a day for marketing. This is where that we go down the YouTube library of everything you can do. And then you go down, let's go to Instagram and see what my neighbors are doing, my competitors, let's just copy them. When you want help, what's a good way to follow some sort of structure?
Yeah. I have been a big proponent of the 30-day experiments.
Yes.
And I do these personally, but also I think a lot of the times, this is what I hear from people. I tried that thing one time and it didn't work. And I still don't have any leads, and that was yesterday. So, look, that's an exaggeration, but I think a lot of us expect things, and maybe it's the culture that we live in, maybe it's the internet, maybe it's the fact we can put something in the microwave for a minute and have it ready straight away. We live in that kind of society, and that we think, okay, well, I've done my one thing. Why didn't that equate to leads? Like, I posted on Instagram, why don't I have any leads? But I think that the way to think of it is, as in everything that you do, is as an experiment. So if you have, let's say you go down the rabbit hole of YouTube and you say, okay, this person said to post on Instagram, post reels on Instagram every day, add 30 hashtags and blah, 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 blah. There's a whole lot of stuff there. You can either keep searching for more things, or you can say, okay, I'm going to test that out. And so test it out. And I would say at least for 30 days. I always do kind of these 30-day experiments.
Yep.
And don't judge it halfway through and say, well, that isn't working. Give it the full 30 days and say, this is a test. And there's no pressure on it when it's a test. It's either going to work or not work. And at the end of the 30 days, you either won or you learned. And that's kind of where we're at. And so doing something over a 30-day period, and then not changing it, not changing your mind, not going over here to the shiny object.
The shinies are good. Shinies are good. Shiny objects are good.
These are the things, and that's how you actually get confident in marketing. Often marketing we kind of see as like, is it magic? Is it some kind of, I don't know what's working, but actually, I didn't study marketing. I learned it all by doing experiments, by taking action, by making movements, and actually learning. And it's possible, for so many of our clients, they do the same thing. I've taken people from who don't know anything about Facebook, nothing about Facebook ads or Facebook marketing, to running really successful campaigns and getting a lot of leads for their business. So it's totally possible to learn, but you have to have that learning mindset. And a learning mindset means that you're going to fail and you have to be okay with it. It's going to be imperfect, but you're going to have to move anyway. Those are the kinds of mindsets to change. And it's sometimes hard. Like, these are our businesses, they're our babies. And so you want to make sure everything's right, but sometimes you just need to make a move. And guess what? Social media, the internet moves really fast. So if you make a mistake yesterday, people are not remembering it today.
Like the paper concept, but it's even better because you can delete. Yes, love that concept. And it's like, fitness pros, you understand the concept of a weekend warrior. It's those, I remember, eastern states, Bondi Beach, you would do a run from like Coogee to Bondi. And if you went at about sort of like 9-10 o'clock, you would have the thing called the weekend warriors, the ones that are walking there. And then you'd have the fit ones that are slept in, they're 5 or 6 o'clock slept in, and they're running at 9:30, 10, and then they're pissed off because there's all these slow walkers out and about enjoying the scenery.
Yeah.
And if you're a weekend warrior in marketing, well, your business will be okay because it will stay.
Yeah.
But it certainly won't grow doing one marketing trick a week. It's a daily progression.
It isn't, and I think those days are very much gone. You're not going to be able to work on marketing, I don't think, one time a week. That's, if we were still in, I don't know, pre-internet days, maybe that is possible. But the world moves really fast. Your audience expects to see you online. And if they don't, they're seeing other people. And that's not to say you need to be online all the time, but I think, that daily regularity of showing up in people's feeds and being there and being seen is really important.
Very good. Love that concept. It just seems too simple, but it does work. It's
sometimes it is the simple things that do work the best.
It is 100% correct. So guys, if that's you thinking about marketing too much, stop thinking, more doing. Once the doing happens, more things progress. It's the same thing with fitness. Once you just get your shoes out and you put them on and you step outside and you say, I'm going to be 5 minutes, then it's 30 minutes later, and then you're going to walk, and then you run. Same concept here. We need to get some wins under our belt, and we need to do it regularly. And that's exactly what we're finding that's happening now in our clients. The ones that are doing the work daily is definitely getting those results. And so if you are, well done, guys. If you do need help with this and you need a more of a structured, clear way path, a step-by-step process, my recommendations is jump on our website, commarketing.com.au, and you can basically fill a form in there, and it will get you what we call a marketing muscle up. So we'll look at the marketing that you're currently doing. We'll look at where you're winning, where you need some improvements, and then we'll give you a pathway to show you exactly how to achieve those results. So that is something that we do offer. It's free of charge. If you listen to this podcast, just say, hey, I heard you on the podcast, and then you can jump onto that. Ev, it's been a blast. I get the message loud and clear. It's turn up, do the push-ups every day.
That's it. That's
Excellent.
all it requires.
Excellent. Team, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Marketing Muscle Up podcast show. That was with Ev Chapman, Operations Manager of Com Marketing. And I'm sure a lot of you who've been through our program have seen her amazing Facebook ads. And a lot of people are running them now and have the confidence to run, because Facebook's it's not like a scary thing anymore. It's just, you got to follow some things and make them work. And then most importantly, have the feedback loops. And I think I just want to add that in before we leave, is that it's the feedback loops that are key here. If you do something and you don't know what you did wrong, then you get in your head.
Yes.
And you sit there and you swirl around it and go, oh, what did I do? So it's really important to get quick feedback loops and then move forward so you can progress in the next stage of what you have to do.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, team. I'll catch you next time in the Marketing Muscle Up podcast show. Bye for now.